All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to A to Z for B2B Lead using LinkedIn in 2022. Guys, I hope you all are able to hear my voice. I request everyone, please open questions tab, which is webinar, right? Yes, so that I can get a confirmation to hear me. I'm enabling my camera as well. Thank you, Augustine. Thank you, Srinivasa. So thank you, Dharam. Great. Yeah, guys, I hope you all are able to see me as well. All right, great. So guys, today we have Mr. Kingshuk Hazra, who is the lead strategist, and Mr. Kingshuk will be taking today. So Kingshuk, to hear my voice, great. Mr. Kingshuk, I have given you the presenter access. You can proceed with the session and then let's start.
Wonderful. Guys, so to welcome you to our with Raj team Digital Vidya. My name is Lead Strategist. My name is Kingshuk. I'm from Lead Strategist, and I have a team with me, Komala and Rasmita, who are going to be part presenting along with me. There's Nitya in the background, who's been running this together. So delighted to be with you, with all of you today. And we wanted, so while I was talking with Raj and thinking of what to present to you, we decided that lead generation using LinkedIn is something which matter, and that's something which will also interest your audience. So absolutely delighted to be here with you today and to present this topic, A to Z of B2B lead generation 2022. To cover today, and there's a lot of ground to cover, is why LinkedIn for lead generation and why now. Then we'll get into the doing this. How do you build your account list without splurging on expensive databases? Get into how that melt the heart of your prospect and get meetings. And then we will have we'll summarize, and also we'll show you a lot of these tools. Again, if you just go back, so my firm Lead Strategist is a B2B demand generation. We do things like go-to-market, sales enablement, but the core bread and butter for lead generation in a B2B enterprise context. So what we do is take over the LinkedIn profile of our customers. We then do a huge amount of analytics and research to figure out which companies are right for them. Then we find out the people who are right in these accounts are not just senior decision makers, but people in our choiciest social media. And then we write extremely personalized messages to them. We give them something of value. We write content. So we write on behalf of our customers, and then we write messages which get us meetings. Just yesterday, we ended one of our customers with around 21 enterprise meeting interests. So within 30 days, for a startup with a very unique product and very experienced founder and with some marquee customer names, we were able to 21 meetings a month. We obviously, this is a crazy number, so we are nearer to, but this is possible. LinkedIn is a medium which is a completely powerful. It's a microcosm of marketing universe. You can do thought leadership. You can do influence. You can do a huge amount of activities on it. So that's what we are going to take you through. And why should you listen to the three of us? We do this as a service. Very mid-sized companies in their early days doing a mix of marketing, business development, research. So I've been active on LinkedIn for over 14 years. And one of the things is typically when I meet a person, within 1 or 2 days, I send them a personalized connection message. So just being here and meeting people, I've been adding to my network. And as lead strategists, practically all our leads except come from channel, and some of them will come from references, but it's a mix of LinkedIn outreach, content which we write on LinkedIn, and the we get. So this is what we kind of do as a business, and that's why you should be for the next 60 minutes. So some house rules. One is, please keep, I'm going to keep looking at the chat window. I'm just going to open that out right now. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to put them out. So between Raj, myself, Umla and Rasmita, we'll try to pick them up and answer questions to you. Number one, anything which comes to your mind as something strange or doesn't make sense, or hey, look, this is what I'm struggling with. Can you do this for me? That's what we really love to do. We want to spend a lot of time demoing and showing stuff and speaking less. So that's what we will do. So this is going to be an intense session. Some things which work for us might not work for you. Keep the questions coming in. And of course, if I'm too, please let me know. Okay. So can I have some, go to the questions bar. Okay, I get a feedback that the voice is breaking. Sorry for that. I hope it is better now. Great. Can you guys hear me clearly? Wonderful. So started. First thing is we want to talk about is why LinkedIn and why do LinkedIn now? LinkedIn is a microcosm of sales and marketing. And if you also look at the fact that how sales has been changing, how marketing has been changing in the last 10 years, and particularly over the last 2 years, it's captured a life of its own. It's become huge. So also because of the way sales and marketing have changed over the last 40, 50 years, and you've seen those go 20 years back, you would have a lot of information is what which gave them the power. But over time, information is available on the particular company's website, or it is available on third-party website. Today, you have YouTube influencers who tell about what product and how. So the power balance between the seller and the buyer has changed. We live in a buyer-first world where the buyer has all the power. Seller. Really, sales interactions between buyers and will be occurring in digital channels from 2025 onwards. And all of us, tell me how many of you enjoy speaking with a seller, right? You want to do that research yourself at you, and then speak with the buyer, with the seller when it is absolute speak with a human. Otherwise, for many of us, groceries, we just buy on the internet and have it delivered, right? So that's one thing which is significant. So as I saw that many of you are studying in B schools, so it's very important. And those of you who have a lot of years of work ex, remember that Darwin statement: it's not the most intellectual, not the strongest of the species, but the one that is best able to adapt and adjust to the changing environment. So in a world where emails don't work, privacy laws are getting tougher. Many of us, how many of you are using Truecaller? Do a lot of you use Truecaller? Yeah. So if you're using Truecaller, okay, some of you are using Truecaller. Karen said it helps. Tarun said yes. So we all use Truecallers to block the people who are reaching out to us. So digital reach outs using LinkedIn, where you've got some kind of a semi-permission to reach out to them in a GDPR compliant way is the way forward. And you need to make use of it before everyone starts using it and it doesn't become relevant anymore. So in this world, this is very important. Also, LinkedIn has 6 you can use it to do account planning. You can use it to discover and connect with people, find people, and we'll show you each of these. You can use it to message to people. Let me show you my screen. When I'm let's say typing with somebody, I can see when somebody is active or someone is online. So there's this green colored button where it says this particular person is available on mobile, there's another button which says he or she is available on computer, which tells you whether a person is active or not, or whether they are live on LinkedIn or they have that window open or not. So this is the power of the messaging medium which LinkedIn gives you. So it's a messaging medium. It's a publishing medium. So yesterday I published about my interview experience. I got thousands of my looking at that and commenting with that, and it allowed me to reach out to them, to network with them, and have very interesting, useful conversations with them. And many of them, over time, after nurturing, are going to convert into a sales level conversation. So I just posted a post about a Bombay dying HR gentleman who came and gave us a pre-placement talk in our B school, and the fact that he didn't present us at all. He said that, look, many of you join us with a lot of expectations, but then you don't like it. So he gave a very honest talk, and that influenced all of us to be oriented to. So LinkedIn is a very powerful publishing media. It's a very powerful insight and influencing media. So for example, I can go and see who looked at my posts, which companies they are from. So let's say I'm looking at this particular post. There are 79 people who have liked it. Now I can go and I can figure out how many of them. Sometimes it gives you from. Then you can find out, for example, who they are, what's their designation, which geography they are, and then many of you can then kind of guess this guy is from this particular company. So of LinkedIn as a insight giving media. So there are multiple parts of LinkedIn. Now, which can go on for a month. So we're just going to compress a lot of that in an hour or so. So I'm not going to go able to go very deep, but I'm going to give you the structure. You'll find a lot of content on our website, leadstrategist.com, or if you find me on LinkedIn, or you find me on YouTube, you'll find some of our content which goes much deeper into this. This is just to give you a flavor of how it is done. And as I told you, we are able to get in extreme circumstances 10 meetings, enterprise level meetings where people really want to talk with our prospect without spending any money on advertising. Yeah, we spend a lot of energy in finding the right people, giving them the right messages, researching them, writing good content. All of these itself as a good marketer. Maybe this is the time, Raj, we just want to check, we want to have a poll to see where do you guys come from. So I'm going to launch the first poll. Raj, with your permission. Raj, do you want to launch that?
I can launch the first poll, yes.
Okay.
So guys, please select the option which you think is appropriate for you. It will take just 1 minute to you select the option. Kingshuk, there's a question from Joel Martin. Joel is saying, please show the slide prior to Darwin theory, which you have shared.
Yeah.
So once this poll is completed, you can see the questions as well.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your poll. I'm closing it. And now Kingshuk can restart from paused.
So Joel, I think Joel was referring to this slide, wherein we are talking about how the relationship between the buyer and the seller has changed 180 degree. The power has shifted completely from the seller to the buyer. Okay, let's move on. So how do you do LinkedIn? Again, this is something which Dale Carnegie had said more than 80 years back. You smile, you be a good listener, talk in terms of the other person's interest, be genuinely interested in people, feel important. You have to do all this digitally, and LinkedIn as a media allows you to do that. There are some basics to get started with, which is if you haven't been on LinkedIn, join LinkedIn, fill in all your personal details, add a profile photo, all the instructions given in the wizard. Try to rather than less. Make your headline and designation keyword pithy. In our training, we try to guide our people to write better headlines. And again, try to put a background image. That's a very, very powerful pitch summary. We'd encourage you to, all of you, to do that. Then again, so LinkedIn journey has multiple stages, and all of you might be at various different stages. Let me just explain what is required at each stage to be effective. So the first part is you start with by being a beginner, wherein you have just got on LinkedIn, you have not done too much. You go there once in a while, connecting with people. You get a lot of people trying to connect with you, mostly your batchmates or college friends or folks like that. You are starting with that. Now, all of you, if any of you who's a beginner, who's not been active on LinkedIn, you are here, which means you're interested in sales and marketing. And that means you need to be able to be a professional. Professional, you're completing the profile, the steps which I told you. You are LinkedIn regularly. You have put in a good photo behind in you where it's only your picture. You're not playing with your dog. You in a professional dress. You look at your professional best when you come on it. That's the first step. And you go there once in a while. You see what is happening. Okay, get the basics of LinkedIn right. The next is what we call as, from being a professional, you're becoming an extroverted researcher. Extroverted researcher. You are outward minded, doing your research. You are also spending a lot of time trying to understand your companies, your people. You're seeing what people are posting. You're seeing what kind of content is working. And on that basis, you're reaching out. So you're building your target list. You're building your account list. You are reaching out. You're seeing what is happening, and you are connecting with people. And we will tell you later as Rasmita comes in how to connect with people. Before that, we'll talk about how to find the companies whom you want to sell to on LinkedIn and also outside. We will show you all of that. But here is, it's a journey. If you are a beginner, if you can jump into an extrovert, you can quickly easy. Be a professional first, then we can a researcher, an outbound extroverted person. You move on to the next step of the journey, wherein you are you're becoming more and more powerful, where you are reaching out with intelligence and compliments. And we will again show that when Rasmita comes on. What do we mean by that? Which is how do you research people, and then how do you make it a positive sounding thing? Again, the most important thing, or doing a lot of outbound sales, it means that immediately after connecting with people, try to give them something of value. Don't say that, look, I'm this and this, would you like to buy my product? That's a strict no. You don't need to do that. So you're understanding, you're reaching out with intelligence and compliments. So there you become slowly becoming more and more powerful. The next step is content producers. If you've seen those YouTube influencers, there are LinkedIn influencers similarly like that. So you are going on your journey to become an influencer where you look at what people are posting, you put a smart comment against that, and then you get a lot of people coming to you and wanting to talk with you. We are not talking about that now because it's a journey. So you first need to be a professional, then you need to be an extroverted researcher, and then you want to be a power figure on LinkedIn. And then comes the last part where you're becoming a master, where you are influencing, you have millions of followers. So if any of you are there or want to be there, you're already a powerful content figure, let me know. Let me know, reach out to me personally. Happy to guide you. So journey. This is the powerful LinkedIn journey which we all need to follow. And uh, having talked about that, I'm now going to go a little bit deeper into LinkedIn, which is the process we follow. It is A to Z of LinkedIn lead generation in 2022. This is the system, this is the repeatable process which we follow, which gives us all our results. And in some time telling you about. So the first step is obviously to research accounts. Now, there are a lot of, when you talk about research, you can do primary research, you can do secondary research. There are a lot of sales intelligence tools which are out there, which give you a lot of about there is a lot of information about the companies out there, or which companies are right for me. To help you with this decision, there are a lot of sales. And then on top of that, we use our own primary research, wherein we look at which companies are hiring, which companies are putting an annual report where there's transformation for me, or I'm looking at this kind of help to find information to build the list of accounts you want to go after. That's what you want to focus on. So you found the companies, the accounts. The next step is to find the people. And most of us, when you're selling, we try to reach out to the senior-most people out there. So not necessarily this is the best approach. You need to find people who are active in your choice of social media, because only if they're active, there's a chance that they look at your message. If they're not active, or they come on LinkedIn once a month, your message is one of the thousands of reaching out to them, it becomes a bit of a challenge. So you need to be very careful in finding the right people who are active in LinkedIn to be able to influence them. So you them, and then you need to send them what we call as a research-based personalized connection message. It is not about you. It is about what they are trying to do as jobs, as an employee, or what is exciting for them as a human. So when we write connection messages, and we typically connect with 50% of the people, however senior they are, to whom we write with, at least in the India market. In US and ASEAN and Europe, it's a little bit less, it's around 25%. But we are able to connect with 50% of the people we write a message to, because it's personalized, it's talking about them, it is talking about things which they want you to know, which you can get from a Google search or a proper reading of their LinkedIn profile. So we send personalized connection messages, which is the first secret of connecting with people. We don't stop at that. Sometimes before we connect and after we connect, if they are active, if they're posting something, we go and share on them, share their content. So then we reach the first, which is first level connection. At the next step, what we do is we share usable, we find that piece of content, maybe a McKinsey article or an HBR article or something which we feel is going to help this person in their job, and we give it to them. It might have nothing about me or my company, but by doing that, I'm showing my nature of helping. So always be helping, even at a at a marketing level, as you all know, is the mantra. And you do that by trying to find that piece of content on the internet which is going to be of use for this particular person and offering it to them. We do that, and then we try to look at enchanting them, which is a little bit of an X factor. You can enchant them by being positive about them or liking about what they're talking about, or you can enchant them by being a good follower, which is everybody wants to be a leader, but very few people want to be a good follower. If you are a good follower by understanding what this person wants and making them feel good about it, they are really enchanted with you. So this is what we are doing as a next factor day in and day out. First we connect, then we give them something of value, then we think which is of use to them. Okay, if they're going to speak are they speaking in an event, I might go and land there. Or they have posted a content and they have a friend who's looking for a job, and I know some people who can help them. So help them, enchant them. So this is the formula. This is a very important slide. I'd encourage you to you can find the slide in our website. You can take a photograph of this if you want. But this is the core. This is the framework. If you this correctly, which is the analytics-based research to find the companies which are giving buying signals for you, and finding the right people, not necessarily all of them CEOs and CIOs or CFOs, but junior enough people who are with the pain, who have the pain which you're trying to solve, and you are writing a very personal message, and then you're sharing useful content with them, then it goes forward. If you have any questions, and try answering that. Okay, I'm getting that my voice is glitching. Is it better? We can do the Karthik asked, can we do this with CXOs? Absolutely. We do this with CXOs, CEOs. You can do this with very senior people. I have had a friend who used to who again, this is not LinkedIn. This is pre-LinkedIn era. This is to Bill Clinton and got a response. It is finding that thing which is of excitement to them and touching that while writing to them. So that's the most important thing for us, which makes this work better. Okay. Okay, there's a question. Do we need to go for paid LinkedIn version only? So see, if you have to do a lot, say for writing to people, connecting with people, you don't need a paid LinkedIn version. Now we use LinkedIn to build. So LinkedIn has this thing called LinkedIn search. And let me show you, like for me. So I have this sales navigator, which allows me to search for people. And it allows me to search by, it allows me to search for companies. It allows me to search for people. Now, if I want to, let's say who studied in my college, who's in Bangalore for the last 5 years, who's a chief marketing officer of an environmental services company, filters allow me to do that. So I pay for that. Otherwise, okay, someone is asking what is the license cost of LinkedIn Sales Navigator? It costs, the first month is free. You can do a 1 month free trial to see whether it is useful or not. Otherwise, they charge something around 4,000 to 5,000 rupees a month. But if you're spending a lot of time on LinkedIn and your job is lead generation, it is well worth the investment. Okay, that is so I'm saying that using this all the time, then you don't need to go in for a paid version. But otherwise, if you're searching for a lot of people, and which is the most important feature of LinkedIn, that ability to do pinpointed search. Maybe it's time for me to do a demo. Okay, there's a question from someone about someone wants to find okay, sorry, the message I lost. Yes, we are talking about lead generation process in LinkedIn. Yes, we're talking about that. If you give me an example of any category which is very difficult to find for you, let me see if I can search that for you right now, and if I can find that from you for you. Okay, I think someone was mentioning, okay, like owners or doctors. Okay, someone is saying CEOs in Delhi. In Delhi, let's say, okay, so I'm going to go to LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I'm going to go to account. I'm going to give the geography as Delhi. So I can also search by you. Annual revenue is not very accurate. Don't go by that. I'd suggest use company headcount. You can search on company headcount growth. Say a particular company where they're adding a lot of finance people or services people. I can find that. I can search on funded startups. Someone asked, Vishaka is asking, can I find startups in Delhi? Absolutely. You can even find funded startups in Delhi, because when you go to that, you search for startups. And when you, okay, let's say I want to search for startups. So I'm going to go to company headcount. And let's say my criteria is less than 50 people. So I say 1 to 10, 11 to 50. And I say it's a startup, so it's growing very fast. So I say minimum the company's headcount growth is 100%. Okay. Can I search by age, years of experience, not age? We can do that. So I got that. Then I put in headquarter location. So I put New Delhi area. I can search for that. I can also search by pin code. So if you say that, if you put, for example, I can put code and I can search all the within my pin code. If I want to search on CEOs in Delhi, yes. So instead of the account list, I go to the leads list, and there I say that help me find. So I put in the company criteria already. It has taken list. So I'm going to go in and check whether they are my connections or not. So I can say that with a lot of people, I want to see which of these from am I connected with. So now I'm going to go to the function, and here I'm going to say. So you can search by industry, you can search by function. This doesn't give me. So I'm going to go to the current job title, and there I'm going to put in Chief Executive Officer, owner, or you can put in multiple fields. So navigator. This is not a free tool. The sales navigator with the search filters is a paid thing. You have to pay for it. But otherwise, all the information, all the connects are out there. So I put in owner, CEO, I put in founders, fast growing companies, and then I search on this. I should be able to get. So I've already got the list of people here. I can save them. I can share that search. So I've got 36,000 founders in Delhi. People like Vikrant Luthra from CEO of Alternative Path and others. All of them are here for me to save as well as to reach out. So in the interest of time, we're going to move on. And if you have time in the last section, demo section, we are more than happy to show much more of these demos first. So going back, as we were saying that LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, but before reaching out, you need to research. You need to listen to these people first, and then you take it forward. Listen first and then engage. Okay. So making time, particularly if you're selling to large companies, making time to know, to research, to talk about prospects or their prospects. So you're selling to, we have a customer which is selling to airlines. It's a software company. Now, when I talk with the software company which is selling to airlines, if I talk with them about the airline industry and the trouble they're facing and how they will always be vis-a-vis me going to them and say, hey, I have this marketing services, please buy me. Right? So that's the trick. If you research on your customers and their pain points and their prospects, you have a much better chance than focusing on your solutions only. Okay? So this is what I would suggest. Moving on, I'm going to move on to the next section, which is how do you build account list without splurging on expensive databases? Okay, so Before I jump into this section, part of it we looked at from a LinkedIn angle. The other is, if you are selling into India and you want to look at particularly the new companies which is launching in, there is a free government given website which is called as Ministry of Company Affairs. So I go there, I search on Ministry of Company Affairs. I look for, and I look at companies incorporated or closed during the month. I'm going to get monthly statistics of all companies which got started in the previous month. And you can go back at least 2-3 years, if not longer. So you come here, you come to the master detail of companies registered and companies which are registered in May. So this is June. Government of India MCA is fairly up to date. So you find this list and you can download this list. I'd already downloaded this list, so I'm not downloading it again. And this gives you by geography in the last 1 month, how many of these companies got set up, where were they, where is their address, which industry they are in, what is their geography, and even an email ID. By looking at the email ID, you can also guess you already have a website or not. And if you're doing something which is appealing to them, this gives you a direct database, absolutely free, courtesy Government of India. And you can find these people back on LinkedIn and reach out to them. So this is the power of primary search. And everything for that, you don't need to depend on LinkedIn. You can find stuff, you can reach out. So let's go back into the database part of it. So remember, again, there's this thing that you have to think of you have to ask for 5 whys before you get into the right answer to your question. So if you want to sell, you want to start with understanding who your customer really is. And who is your customer? We're going to talk a little bit about that. First, you have to understand the buyers. So you need to understand the industry they are in. So if you are doing this, you might tell me that, look, I'm doing it. But unless you write it, your thoughts are not clear. So you need to write down, not just read the industry, what is unique about them. Then you need to understand the company, what is unique about them. Then you need to understand the designation, what is the pain points or what is exciting for this designation. And then you need to understand the persona behind them, the profile of this the profile of the person you're talking with. And last but not the least, you come to the use case. If you have written this all down, you're identifying the right account as well as the right buyer becomes much more easier. So many of us use this concept called BANTS, budget, authority, need, timeline, solution, to qualify our leads or prospects much better. If you look at how do you find industry information, right? You can, there are enough industry reports in the industry analysis reports. If you go to a Money Control or a ET Now or an ICICI Direct, you have enough industry information, enough company information, particularly you're selling it to large companies. I know a lot of us are not selling to large companies, but smallest of the small company, there is a review about them on Glassdoors, which basically is an employee review about companies. And companies cannot delete that, which means if you have a particular company written by someone else, nobody can delete that. That is for sure. So using Glassdoors, we can sometimes find information about culture of companies, or what is, or whether as an employee you should join them or not. Again, there are lots of websites, free tools, premium tools, which tell you about their size, which tell you about their industry. So you get all of that without ever talking with them. Then you have this persona specific stuff. You can get designations, personalities, read social media. Then comes the difficult part, which is the pain points. Here you have to understand what is the pain point which your solution is trying to solve, which is going to excite this person. If your company is able to give you that, wonderful. Otherwise, you'll have to do the hard work of researching the industry, figuring out who are the other sellers who are reaching out to them to get a handle of the pain points you're trying to solve. And then you do this budget, authority, need, timeline solution, and then you go to the use case. What is the problem they're trying to solve, which I can help them with? Okay. So this is what you need to do to understand a buyer. And there's also this thing called a trigger event. Something happened. When we used to sell ERP for a very large company, we used to joke about it that we used to tell the customer that, hey, aapka company is doing very well, so now you need to have ERP because you'll be able to know what is happening in the company. And when the company used to do badly, used to say, look, you are doing badly. You need to know where your money is getting lost. Get an ERP, आपको पता चलेगा क्या कहाँ पे problem हो रहा है. So this trigger events is something very, very important. So we made that trigger event, that is more of a joke, but any change which is happening in a company, or a new CEO or a CIO has joined that company, or the CEO in the annual report, they said, look, to invest in this particular areas. Say, and Adani has said that, look, we are going to build 25 different, we're going to build invest a lot of money in data centers, and we're going to invest a lot of money in green energy. So that gives you that information that this is how the company is going to spend their energy on. And if you have a solution which aligns to that, you reach out to them. So when you look at buying intent for a company, we look at this kind of trigger events. There's a legislative change. Somebody got recognized. They're a big FMCG and they're doing an agency review. There is a database where for large enterprise IT outsourcing deals, companies like Everest and Gartner, they will say that, hey, this deal is coming up for review in this particular time. You go and find that. So you have to find those relevant buying signals which are most relevant to you, because only when you get the buying signal right will you be selecting the right company. And only then, that is not enough. You also have to hit the person with the right message. Okay, you can't be only talking about the weather. You have to talk about what is happening in their company and come across as a person who is knowledgeable and understands their pain. So this trigger event recognition is a very, very important part in doing that. So how do you find the best companies to chase? We have this 7-step process where we first shortlist the company based on the geography, the industry, the revenue range. Step 1. Step 2, we build a model where we get the total number of companies available from these primary factors. Step 3, we try to figure out the key intent or buying signal for a company. And using a lot of these tools like Crunchbase, Slintel, SimilarTech, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, we try to find information about how these companies meet that buyer intent, which is important for us. That is step 4. Once we have done that, we do our own secondary research. So that particular company where we got 20 enterprise leads in a month, Omla and Rasmita and their teams, they manually went through each of those companies' websites to figure out whether the client solution which they're talking about, whether there are any clues on how this particular company was solving this problem. So there's a lot of secondary research, there's a lot of pain point which you need to do. There's these tools which you need to do, and then you need to do your secondary research if you have to qualify the right company. And then we built our own very simple model where you'd look at all these factors, give a weightage, and then say, look, these 100 companies make the maximum sense for you to chase next month, not those 400, because these companies are giving the maximum buying signals. And this is how we build the company list for us to go after. A big part of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but that is not enough. So this is what we do. In the interest of time,
let's see how we actually rank them.
We will move on. Similarly, to find the right people, if anybody has any query, I can answer that. We try to find not just a senior most person, but we try to find the function, the person who has the pain point. We try to find their geography by pin code, seniority, years in current position. If someone is a CIO of a company for 10 years, that means they are highly influential, versus a CIO who's been in that company, or a program manager who's in that company for 3-4 months. So then you find these people, you sort them not just by seniority but by LinkedIn activity. The more active they are, the more are the chances of their responding to you with a well-directed message. And then you hit them with a storyline, a message which is likely to resonate with them. And you can do all this yourself. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about tools. To find revenues, there is this information, Boom Info, which has a lot of information about Indian companies. Crunchbase, buying signals. Bombora is a tool which even for Indian enterprise companies will tell you which company is most likely to buy, and we have more deeper sessions. We keep doing sessions on tools. So if you follow us or connect with us, you come in our mailing list. We'll inform you the next time we have these training sessions. Then we use SEO tools like SEMrush. We use a tool like Slintel. All these tools, or any specific problem you have, we can try doing a demo for you towards the end of this call. So please mark your questions. My team, Komla, Rasmita, please note some of the questions if you can, because I'm not able to note down all the questions. We'll come back to this if time permits. And then this is what is our Virat proof for looking at lead generation for a salesperson. So we have this diamond on the left, which basically has this intelligence tools, sales training tools, sales automation tools, sales prospecting tools, campaign tools, enablement tools. So to find an email ID, we can like a hunter, we can use a crystal nose to figure out the personality of a particular person. You can use Lusa to find an email ID. You can use Spark Toro to find specific information about companies where you got some information but not the other. So all these tools are there. And then on top of that, you have the social media where you get a huge amount of information, places like a LinkedIn, a Quora, a Twitter. Then you have these online databases, ET500 in an Indian context, Forbes 1000, Ministry of Company Affairs, I showed you, Traction. Then you have these research sources like a Gartner, an IDC, a G2, a Statista. So this is the universe of tools as well as approaches for intelligence, for finding companies and understanding companies and writing messages to them. So we use a lot of this. I'd encourage you to use some of this if you are trying to do this on your own. Okay. So having done this, again, so if you look at the entire sales process about finding the target accounts or doing the code GTM or the account intelligence or finding the right people and reaching out, we have classified some of these tools. Any tools you want to add, you want us to answer on, we can do that. Komla, if you want to highlight any tools based on any of the questions you have seen, please feel free to add in. So if there are not, we will come back again to talk about the tools. If you have any specific query on, look, I'm struggling with this, which tool do I use? Put that question in, we will try to answer that. So this is it when it comes to the kind of tools which are there, which make it a little bit better. Now I'm going to come to the next part where we are going to talk about how to write messages that move your prospect. I'll just check if my colleague Rasmita is on, and then I'll request Raj to hand over control to her.
Sure, Kingshuk. I can make Rasmita presenter.
Rasmita, you there?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
Rasmita, you can disable the camera if so as we can save the bandwidth,
Sure.
and we can share our screen.
Sure. Is it visible?
Yes, you can proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Kingshuk. Hi everyone, I'm Rashmita. I handle ABM account-based marketing at Lead Strategist, and we do social selling for multiple clients across different geographies, different SaaS products, and we have our own set of experiences and learnings very unique learnings. Very happy to share all those experiences and learnings with you today, and I hope you find them useful. So how do you connect with anybody you want to? So let's get started. So how do you connect with anybody you want to? So the answer to this question is a thoughtful research-based personalization. So as per my experience, when I handle the LinkedIn profile of different CXOs, what I see is that they get a lot of connection requests from different people. Of course, most of them get ignored. Why? Because they are not personalized. And even if the luck favors them and they get connected, the first thing that they do is they pitch about their product. So if you are also doing that, my request would be to stop immediately, because the thoughtful research based personalization, the adding that personalization in your connection message, that is the key to get you connected and build a strong base for your relationship with the prospect. So LinkedIn web, not the app, LinkedIn web allows you to send a 300 characters note. Maximum you can send it a 300 character note when you send a connection request, and in that note, if you add a research-based personalization, your chances of getting connected increases. Now, some of you might already be doing it, and those of you who are not doing it may not believe in it. But then across the India market, with this personalization-based connection message, we have achieved an acceptance rate of as high as 60 to 70%. So that is the power of personalization that we have achieved. Moving ahead, so once you connect, how do you build a relationship with anybody? How to build a genuine relationship? So it's a very tried and tested matrix that we have come across, that we have created across, especially across the India market. Let me take you through them one by one. So the first level message is the connection, the personalized connection message that I was just talking about. It is based on a deep dive research on the prospect, learning about the prospect, his likes, dislikes, everything. Then the next set of messages, the second, third, and fourth level messages, they are a combination of internal and external thought leadership. So with these messages, with these three set of messages, it's mainly meant to show your always be helping side. So for example, in the second level message, for this you need to understand the prospect's industry, their company, their pain points, and then find a relevant third party article, say a Forbes or a McKinsey, and then share it with the prospect. So so when you are finding such type of articles, you need to be careful that you find a very relevant and up to date article. You need to stay trendy, you need to stay up to date. Then in third level message, you can always share a non-salesy, non-aggressive, say somebody, some eminent leader speaking about something, some podcast, some interview, or any asset, any post that is not very salesy and that connects with the prospect. So for example, even if a prospect, he posts a lot about crypto, right? So you can always share something about crypto. So you need to gauge what the person likes, what the person doesn't, and then keep adding value. Then the fourth level message, here you can get a bit salesy. Now that you know that what the pain points are, you can send some sales collateral, some success stories, some case studies, right? So after you have sent these second, third, and fourth level messages, you've not just made your way into the prospect's inbox, you have also made a mark into their minds. So you have already added some value, and next, finally, what you can do is ask for a meeting. So now that you've already added a lot of value, the chances of getting accepted, the meeting request getting accepted, increases. So this is a standard message matrix that we follow, and it gives us a lot of good results. The sixth level message is all about nurturing. Just like the physical world, we don't get 100% positive response rate in the digital world. So you need to keep adding value, keep sending messages, keep sending collaterals, keep sending assets, keep sending content. Very rarely it happens that a person would say, just stop, don't disturb me. Until then, you just keep adding value, so that even in future, at a particular point of time, if the person feels that they need such solution, they will have you in their mind, because you have projected yourself as a thought leader, as a always helping person. So So this is the matrix that we follow, and it gives us a very good result in the India market. Now moving ahead, getting back to the first level connection message, the personalization that I was talking to. So how do you get the personalization right? To get the personalization right, you need to get the hook right. Now what is the hook? Hook is nothing but the outcome of the research that you do in the prospect, on their company, on their industry, on their pain points. Now, as per our experiences, we have broadly categorized these hooks into three main categories. LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has different dedicated sections. So in the About Me section, a person would be discussing their passion. They may be giving some numbers as to they achieved this, they achieved that. So those facts, those points that they have mentioned, that is the hook there. In the company page and news, you will get all company specific news, any merger and acquisition, any awards that the company would be winning. Now those information are the hooks. Events and third party article. So this is more, this stands good for very eminent and influential leaders, those who those who participate in webinars, podcasts, and on whom the publications are posted. So there you will find the person's journey, their ideology, their growth story. So these are the hooks. So you need to gauge the person's personality through their LinkedIn. If LinkedIn has a lot of information, nothing like that. And across India market, based on our experiences, the first and third, the person based hook, the personality based hook works the best. If you are not able to find any personality based hook, then only you go after the company based hook. Okay, so now that you have a rough idea of hooks, let me take you through some of the examples. So this is a message that we, first level connection message that we sent out to one of the prospects for our clients. She had won a government award, and we had mentioned how she has won a prestigious award. And this moved the lady, and she got interested to talk to us just after our first level message. Here is another example where Kingshuk sent a connection request to a very popular B2B sales and marketing influencer in a US market. So the hook that he used was the views of the person. So he mentioned the podcast where he had listened to him, and he mentioned what resonates, and that got the man talking to us. So these are some example of hooks. Now here is the example of the asset-based message that I was talking in the second, third, and fourth level message. So once you do a research on the person, you know, on the person's company and the industry, you know what the pain points are. You try to find a good third-party article, a very reliable one, and share it across. Now here, particularly in this message, we gauged that the person would be ready to talk. So we just cut the chase, and after we sent this third-party article, we sent a message saying that we solve similar problems for a company similar to yours, and would be happy to take you through those best practices, and that got the person talking to us. Another example here is of a thought leadership based article message. Here also we shared the article, and the lady said that the area that the article covered is a big focus area for their company as well. So this is the power of getting the buying intent right, getting the research right, getting the right person, and then sending the right message to the right person at the right time. So this is the power of the buying journey that Kingshuk took you all through. Now, here are some tips for writing an effective message, some don'ts. Don't use multiple hooks, stick to one, don't overcrowd. Do not copy paste phrases, always summarize in your own words. When you're flattering, so say a person has said the person has achieved a 10x growth in just 3 minutes, in just 3 months. So in spite of saying awesome, incredible, or amazing, you can just simply say, hey, XYZ, achieving such a growth in such short time must have called for a lot of hard work. Then making grammatical errors, let Grammarly do the honors for you. Don't talk about dated stuff, be recent, be up to date. Some do's, use proper salutations, using Mr., Miss, they work very well in the India market today as well. catching the attention of the prospect in the first 2 lines. So when you send a connection request to someone, the person can only see the first 2 lines of the message. So make sure that the hook that you found through your research appears on those lines, so that the person can so that the message can grab the a person's eyeballs. Picking the prospect's tone. So if the prospect happens to reply back, just pick up the tone what they are using and reply back in the same tone. Give a breather. Do not send back-to-back messages. Even if the person has seen your message and not replied back, just let the person be. Give a break of 3 to 4 days and then send the next message. Keep the message open-ended. So you always need to frame the message such a way that it's open for the person to respond. So for example, if you are sending a meeting request, so always share the slot, always share the time and say, hey, does this works for you? So when you're writing messages, just make sure that you are throwing the ball in their court. Moving ahead, how to nurture your leads. So nurturing leads is important. You just don't stop at connecting. You need to nurture them. How do you nurture them? By understanding their pain points, by sending them, by adding value to them, by sending them information, keep sending them content. Then through sending content, you keep the engagement high. Also engage them through, if they are posting a lot on LinkedIn, make sure that you engage with them. You like on their post, you comment on their posts, and you make some conversations going. You need to stay in touch with them, because you need to make sure that you are visible in front of them. You don't give them a chance to forget you. In our words, we call it ghosting. If they go cold, they stop responding to you, it's called ghosting. And even if they do, there is still a chance to get back to them. How? That is through changing channels. So if the prospect is not answering to your messages on LinkedIn, and so Komla will take you through some of there are a lot of tools Komla does that, and we gather a lot of information as the email, the phone number, the contact information. And if the person is not responding to you on one channel, just switch channels. Go to WhatsApp, go to Twitter, go to email. If they're not messaging, if they're not responding on email, make a call. So just switch channels and keep trying, and you will get there. That's all. Happy to answer any questions if you have. Komla, over to you now.
I think I will join in, and depending on any demos, Kumla will join back in. So we have kind of out of time. So Raj, is it okay if we spend 15 more minutes?
Yeah, that's okay. Shall I make Komla presenter?
You make me the presenter, and
all right.
Komla will come back if any of the software need to be demoed.
Sure,
okay? Sure. So I'm also going to take this opportunity to start answering some of the questions which you had before I summarize, because now I got a chance to look through your questions much better than when I was speaking. So the section which I'm going to cover all together. But before that, let me just go to some of the questions which I really wanted to answer. So Sahil asked, is LinkedIn a great place to target high-profile doctors like owners of hospitals? Not all doctors are on LinkedIn, but I have been interacting with a CEO of a hospital group, one of the Bangalore-based groups on LinkedIn. Some of the new age doctors as well as hospital owners are very, very active. We did a project for a company in ASEAN where we generated leads as well as meetings for them across multiple countries by interacting with the owners of hospitals across the GE. So yes, we can do that. So Anushree asked about lead generation. Yes, we've covered that. Answered. Then CSR, Mugdha asked, CSR head of Fortune 500 companies. Yes. So if you Fortune 500 companies in India, across the world, wherever you go to, you put that geography. I believe LinkedIn has a criteria called Fortune 500. Otherwise, you can put in a criteria more than 10,000. Typically, there's a reasonably good correlation between employee size and whether they're Fortune. You can find that. CSR heads, advertise them on LinkedIn. They all need a job. They are out. Yes. You might not find them under directly. You might have to put in a text search for CSR. You can do that. Visakha, we showed you the startups in Delhi, so you are familiar with that. Business owners with age group of 45 to 60, as I said, you might not get LinkedIn is not that will not be able to give you that age very easily, but it can tell you people. So someone who's typically most people start working at 25. So if you look at business owners who have more than 20 years of work ex in the same company for 20 years, if you put in those search filters, you'd be able to get it. Komla, Rasmita, any questions you want to answer, please join in.
I'm not able
Raja,
to view any questions actually.
Okay, I've put that in our internal WhatsApp group.
So yeah, there are few questions on how to scrape email IDs, so I can do a demo of that.
Okay, fantastic. So fine, we'll do that in a moment. Raja had a question on liking, commenting, and sharing. Is it fine before connecting? Absolutely. That increases your chances. Sometimes, let's say you are reaching out to someone, a huge amount of likes, but they have made a good statement. If you go and make an intelligent comment on that, your chances of connecting become much more higher. So the trick which I tell folks to join our classes or when we do it for our customers is try to be the first one to like. If you're not the first one to like, try to be the first one to comment. And when you comment, don't make any intelligent, yes, okay, great. Try to make an intelligent comment which goes into the heart of what they are posting about. And if you're not the one of the earliest to comment, share their stuff, particularly if they're big influencers or so. All these affinities, showing of love, allows them to be positively inclined towards you, so that when you send the connection message, they look at you very positively. Okay, so Ekta, I hope we showed you enough of those tools. Pradeep, MCA didn't work for you. Try it once again. Otherwise, you can reach out to me. We can do a live session to help you with that. Karisma, very good question. If you don't have access to these paid sales tools, are there any preliminary list? Yes, so we showed you on LinkedIn how to do that. You can go to the MCA based on your category. You can keep searching. You'll get that. So any preliminary list of buying signals. So if you tell us your category, we might be able to answer that in a more contextual way. But typically, we look at companies whose headcount is growing, or whose headcount is growing in that business department which is of relevant to us. Typically, if companies grow by very significantly in headcount, that means the revenues are also growing. So that's the one thing we look at. So this is what I would say. Yeah, so I've covered the questions which I've seen so far. Komala, if you'd like to go ahead and do the demo, that'll. Raj, if you could give access to Komala.
Yeah, Komala, you have the presenter access now. You can share your screen.
Yes, is my screen visible?
Yes, Komala.
Okay, great. So hi everyone. Excuse for my voice today. I have a bad throat. So I'm Komla Maran. I've been with Lead Strategist for 3 years. Like Kingship mentioned, one of the most important and interesting activity which we do at Lead Strategist is try to innovate and automate each step in our service lines which we provide. So here we have categorized four different categories, and we have listed the tools which we use. So there were questions and concerns about using paid tools. So one important criteria which we have and which I make sure my team gets it is look at only tools which are premium, where we can leverage a lot on that. So all the tools here have a freemium element, and that is where you can leverage them more. So we have listed that. And so there are tools other than LinkedIn also which provides free databases. So one such tool is Get Latka and Traxin. So I'll just open the page. So you just have to log in, and this is the SaaS database which you will be getting. So this is Get Latka's page. So you just have to go to getlatka.com, click on the SaaS database, and just I have selected the location as India. So you have the revenue, the funding, the valuation, and based on this, you can get there is an option to download. So you can just download the list of startup companies in India. So this is when it comes to free startup database other than LinkedIn. And one more question was, how do we scrape email IDs? So there are a lot of tools which allows you to do that. I'll talk about two tools. One is hunter.io. So hunter.io is a software which will allow you to find the email, verify the email as well. So per official ID, you get 50 free email IDs which you can find per month, and you can have unlimited verifications. That is, if you have an email ID, you can verify n number of email IDs using hunter.io. How do you find an email ID? Just give the full name of the person and at the rate of their the company domain, and you will get the email ID here. If there is any particular email ID which you want me to find, I can do that. So for the sake of the demo, I have a page opened. So this is so there is another tool also, which is Lucia. So Lucia helps you to find both email and phone number. The name of the tool is Lucia. So go to the Lucia website, and there is an option where you can download the Lucia extension. So you can just, if you're using Chrome as your browser, download the extension and go to your extension bar and pin Lucia to your extension. Because I use all these tools, so most of the tools are pinned in my extension. So this is just a 2 minutes process where you can just pin the extension, and this is the whenever you open LinkedIn or whenever you have a particular page, so this is how Lucia pops in. So you can click in. The name of the person is Neha Agarwal, and she is from Amazon. So you just click in that Lucia control, and you will get the work email ID, the phone number of the person. All you have to do is just show contact, and within a few seconds, you will get the email ID and the phone number of the person, verified email ID and verified phone numbers. So how does Lucia does it? It has an algorithm where it captures all the email IDs and phone numbers which is available online, and all of this is legal. So that is you don't have to worry about it. And if you want to verify whether this email ID is valid or not before writing an email, you can use Hunter, where you can just go and click the email verifier, copy this, and just say verify. So this is the acceptance score is 74. So this is a good acceptance score, and this is a valid email of the person. So this is when it comes to email ID. You can use Hunter, where you give in the first name and last name of the person and the company domain, and you get the email ID. And you can use Lucia to get the phone numbers. But I would recommend to use Lucia very wise, because Lucia only gives 5 free credits per email ID. But Hunter you can use 50, so you can use how much ever you want there. So that is in terms of finding the phone number and email ID of a person who is whom you know the first and the last name. So in terms of, there were questions on how do we get account information and buying signals. So there is a tool called Slintel. And that tool is also free. So if you visit the page called slintel.com, so you will be you can have an Chrome extension. So I have already installed the Chrome extension. Visit any website of your client or a customer whom you want to understand their landscape. For example, right now I've taken Pine Labs as an example, and click the SSD Slintel icon, and when you click, a drop down appears in your screen. So this provides five different categories of information about a company. One is the general information on when was it founded, what is the location, the employee count, what industry it is from, and what are the products they produce. So that is the basic information. And then you have some information on the key decision makers also available. So you will have the chief financial officers, all the CEOs, CFOs. So to unlock these, it may need credits. So for getting the email ID, you can use Hunter. For example, you need to get the person's email ID. So just copy the name, put it here, and just put the ID as Pine Labs. So you will have all the combination displayed, and just give a search. Yes. So you have the email ID of the person here itself. So you can use Hunter for that. So getting back to Slintel, the very important factor is to understand what is the technology that company is using. So for example, if you want to understand what is the HR softwares the company is using, so you can just click on the HR and view all the HR related softwares the company is using. If you want to understand what are they using for, what is the OS they are using, you can click on that and view their operation software, and what are the different tools they're using for their communication. This is to understand whether they use your competitor, or whether they do have a tool which which you are providing, which is completely in your domain. So this will give you all the tools the company is using currently, and all these informations are revised every fortnight. So this is our latest information. So this is one very powerful information which will help you understand the different tools a company is using. And then you get into the buyer intent. So there is a tool called Bombora, which helps you understand um, what is the intent, or what is the company currently looking for. Here you can see that in marketing, if there is any score which is more than 85 or 90, means that some part of the company or few employees are searching for this particular for this particular topic. Distributed marketing, the score is 85. So there is a surge on this particular topic in the company. So this is the conclusion we can draw from the scores which you're getting. And here it will be ranked, all the intent will be ranked in function wise. You have marketing based intent, technology intent, finance intent, HR intent. So you can see if there is any relevant intent which your company or you're providing as a service. And then the last is the buying signal, the news and signals. Any information or any news about Pine Labs, you will get it completely collected here. Any funding information, any IPO related information. So like Rashmita mentioned about writing messages based on research. So this is a good point where you can start in looking about company information, where you can use these pointers when you're writing or researching about the company. So this tool will provide all these five different information about a company in a single touch. So this is a very powerful tool. So I would completely recommend each one of you use these tools. So these are the most important tools which we recommend. there are other tools as well. So if there is any specific tools which you want to address, you can feel free to reach out to us. We do a lot of webinars. Yeah. So is there any questions? I missed looking at the questions. King Shukra, Raj, is there any questions about
Well read out.
tools?
So one was
Please.
spell out. Mugdha had this question. Spell out Splintel for me. Splintel for me.
Okay. So it's SLINTEL. So I will just put it in the chat, which will be available for everyone.
Okay. Praveen had this question on Lusa's 5. Is Lusa's has 5 credits per month?
So it's 5 credit per email ID. So you can create, different accounts using your email ID, your friends, or you can borrow few email IDs and create it. But it is 5 credits per email ID.
Ashwani had this question. Can we group by these tools?
Can we?
Group by together as a group these tools. I
I
guess the
didn't.
answer is no. Can we buy as a group together? No, afraid not. But most of these are marketing. Most of them are freemium. So most of these you'll get it free. You try a little bit, then you go for it.
So I recommend look at the pricing models. Everything is transparent because all of them are SaaS tools. So the pricing is very transparent. So look out at there are different, for example, per 40, you get these many. So look out it and whatever works best for you, you can get based on that.
Okay. So there are some requests for presentation and recording. We'll just check with Raj in the how Digital Vidya does it, and we will get back to you on that. There was a question from Mugdha about us providing LinkedIn marketing service. If you're talking about LinkedIn content creation and lead generation using this primary outreach, absolutely. But we don't do that LinkedIn ads right now. No, we don't do that. But if you want any content created or any outreach to happen based on this intelligence, the way we do it, we're doing it across the world. Anirban had a question. Is there any tool to find active people on LinkedIn? Rasmita, Komla, you want to answer that?
Yes, so one thing which we do to get the people who are very active on LinkedIn is leverage on Sales Navigator. So there is a filter when you're searching on a particular lead where you will be um, so so I'm just searching on people in Asia.
Active people are also online. So a lot of people are active between 9:30 to 10:30, 11. You connected with them and you open their messaging window, you can see whether they're active or not.
Yes. So there is a spotlight filter on LinkedIn which will give you the people who change job in last 90 days, who have posted a lot on LinkedIn in 30 days. So if they are posting and if they're very active, so you can just use that filter to see, people who are active on the past 30 days. And also, if you want to see how to, see based on a person's activity, go to their LinkedIn profile and there is an activity column. If you scroll down, so you have about, you have feature. So here is the here if the person is not active over the past 90 days, LinkedIn just has a message saying that there is no activity. So you can ignore those profiles as well.
Can we say that LinkedIn can be used to connect with the client and later we switch on to other media as the client prefer to communicate? I'll answer that. Absolutely, Steve. LinkedIn is a connection media uh, and it's also a database built media. So you find the people, you connect with them. Some people prefer LinkedIn, some people prefer WhatsApp, some prefer email. You have to judge that and accordingly you have to move that. I think, Rasmita, there's a question for you from Pinal. how do you search the relevant and trending hashtags for the articles? Raspita?
Okay. Yeah. So if you so there is a right tag, a website called right tag. So Komla, if you're sharing the screen, just go to righttag.com, and there if you key in any of the industry specific uh, tag, yeah, it's RITETAG. So if you put in any keyword there, you will get all the relevant keywords that you would want to use. Yeah, this is the link. So if you put any hashtag, say sales, so you will get all the relevant hashtags that are relevant to sales. So you can put in a combination, but then one thing to note is that adding too many hashtags also doesn't work well. So just stick to 4 or 5 hashtags in each of the post. That's the best practice. I hope I answered your question, Pinal.
Just a question from Tarun. And now I think we have to wrap up because we have a call in 4 minutes. Sorry for that. Just a question from Tarun. Do I go for a Sales Navigator Core or an advanced one? I think you're talking about Sales Navigator Premium versus base and an advanced Sales Navigator. So my suggestion is simple LinkedIn Premium because you're paying them for it to get views. But if you pay a little bit more and get sales based search, for me that's the most important thing. Then there is a more paid version called LinkedIn for LinkedIn sales teams, where I think people can see each other's within a team 5-6 sales, what each of them are connected with and what they are doing. Don't think that is really necessary. If you really want to use it like a bazooka, you have this LinkedIn for HR and recruiters. So we get around 20-25 filters, 60-65 filters. So even some people who have done deep searching for a needle in a haystack might also think of something like that. Now, this is a question from Girish, which is on a different note, which is more on personal branding. Is there a gap if there's a gap in employment, is it necessary to hide it, or so how to manage it? My recommendation is going to be you don't hide it. You say that I was just doing something personal, or I was doing something on managing my finances. Today's world is much more modern than what it was when at least when I started out. Apps, breaks, internships, experience, taking internships, all that is quite common. So be honest, be upfront. That works. Okay. I think there are a few questions. If you feel that we have not been able to answer you, we will be more than happy to take it offline. You can reach out to us and we will get back to you. Otherwise, I think we, just in the interest of time, we are ending on this note. I hope you had as much fun in this, listening to us as much we had in bringing it to you. Thank you so much. All the best, and back to Raj.
Yeah, thank you, Kingshuk. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Komala and Rashmita. It was a much valuable session for all of us, and even I have also learned a lot. So, guys, I hope you have got value from. And with this note, I want to end it. But before that, I just want to start a small poll, guys. At Digital with digital marketing training programs every week, and we have our upcoming batch starting on this next week. And I want to start one to join our training programs. You can just select the poll date and someone from our team can reach you and they can help you with the registration. Not sure, you can select I'm not sure, but if any of you is start learning, they can share their interest. I'll just take another 2 minutes and then I'll complete it. And in case anybody is interested, or discuss with Kingshuk for any of your consulting for LinkedIn, message, and I'll connect you with Mr. Kingshuk and discuss offline. Right. So Also, we have a session on SEO. I request everyone, if you're interested to attend our weekly webinars, you can visit our website digitalvidya.com. There on the menu, you can see we have webinars link, and you can register for our upcoming webinar as well. So thank you guys. I'm completing this poll, and at last, I'm just starting one feedback, like how this session went for you. I request everyone to please share your feedback about today's session, and then let's complete this webinar. Kingshuk, details of people who have shared their interest about consultation with you, and then we can discuss offline as well.
Thank you so much,
So guys,
everyone.
if you mention on questions tab, if you want to have a discussion with Mr. Kingshuk, you can just share your details with your phone number and your name, and we can pass on this detail to Mr. Kingshuk as well. All right, Ashwini, I'll be sharing. Thank you, Mugda. I'll pass on your details to Mr. Kingshuk, and then you both can discuss offline as well. Great. Thank you, guys. Thanks for attending today's session, and wish you all the best. Thank you, Bhushan. I'll pass on your number to Mr. Kingshuk as well, and then you both can discuss offline for your request. Thank you, Sahil. Information. Thank you, Chetan. Thank you, guys. To complete this session, once attending, and wish you all the best, guys. Bye-bye.